A warm welcome to my YouTube channel Real Data Hero for the presentation, introduction and explanation of my analyses and graphics on official data concerning the COVID-19 disease, which I also offer for download on my Telegram channel. As announced in my last videos, today I would like to present you with a short introductory video of a new overall update of the mortality analysis for 34 European countries based on data from Eurostat and individual federal statistical offices. The PDF with additional data material is again available for download in my Telegram group. Due to the abundance of the material of 558 pages, it does not make sense to present each individual country in separate videos, but I will explain the basic slide types here. With this basic information, you can easily find your way around the large file, especially as the links in the table of contents work again this time. You can navigate to individual countries, and the country flag, which is also linked, will take you back to the index. There are countless reports in the media about individual countries or individual figures, which are often not presented in context and rather contribute to confusion or uncertainty. I think that the analysis I have presented call for an open dialogue, exchange and discussion of the comprehensive comparative material. I would like to invite the media and politicians in particular to do this. My work is freely available for information, but any reporting and new or self-interpretation of the data presented should be preceded by a critical discourse. Agreement should be reached on the possible use of the data in the media. If you are interested, you can contact me via the Telegram channel. An important basis for my analysis of the mortality data is the age standardization specified by the WHO in 2001 and elaborated in more detail by the RKI, which is a prerequisite for the comparison of several calendar years. In addition, the calculation of a total equivalent on a standard population also enables the comparison of different countries with each other, so that I can provide the comparison of all 34 countries in an Excel table as a supplement to this video. Here, the years 2020 and 2019 are processed separately. Since there is currently no sufficiently up-to-date data available for the United Kingdom, I will present the types of slides using France as an example. As I said, the corresponding slides for all other countries can be found analogously in the PDF document. Slide 54 starts with a table on the left with the key data on population, age structure and the COVID-19 data with the status indicated above, in this case the 27th of December 2020. Since Eurostat only provides the complete monthly data for a few countries, the preliminary annual accounts can only be based on the data up to the 52nd calendar week. After 2015-2020 was the second year in the period since 2012 to which 1 calendar week more was attributed to the overhang to the previous and following year, which would be reflected in the mortality statistics with 7 additional days. The table on the right provides key data for the new calendar year. For the COVID-19 pandemic, however, the values are cumulated across years. This means that at the turn of the year, in contrast to all other diseases, the cases were counted on. I would like to refer you once again to our coronakarten.com website, where you can call up this information worldwide and on a daily basis. The block with the blue background shows the status of the vaccination campaign, and the lower part lists the vaccination adverse events reported by the EMA or the country safety reports so far. Not all reports list cases with severe side effects and deaths separately. In this context, I would like to refer you to my Numbers Plus video on the Seychelles and vaccination. We are currently working intensively on the documentation and evaluation of these sources, and related reports will follow in my channels. Slide 55 shows the mortality trend for the entire calendar year. Red for the total number of deceased against the background of the minima and maxima of the previous years. Purple for the deaths assigned to COVID-19. And orange are the COVID cases subtracted from the total number of deaths to show their share. Slide 56 shows the absolute death rates of the calendar years in 4 week groups. The peak values are marked in red. On the right are the numbers of deaths assigned to COVID-19. In the rows with the blue background, the proportion per 100,000 as well as the number of deaths calculated per 1,000 inhabitants are converted to the population development as a whole, which provides a first approximate value for comparison. Slide 57 gives an overview of the population development of the period under consideration. The bar chart on the right illustrates how differently the individual age groups have developed during this time, which is of great importance for the age adjustment of mortality rates demanded by the WHO and RKI. Then, in slide 58, as I explained in more detail in the earlier basic mortality video, the percentage mortality rates for each age group are calculated. These are age-adjusted to the 2020 population figures in the total equivalent. This converts the mortality rate to the current composition of the age groups and makes it comparable in the sense of the WHO's requirement. If you want to study this in more detail, please refer to the basic video mentioned above, as well as some statistic videos on my analysis by Samuel Eckert. Slide 59 summarizes the results of the large table in comparison to the minimum and maximum values of the previous years in the individual age groups. The cause of the total equivalence is shown graphically on slide 60. Slides 61 to 63 show the development of the percentage mortality rates for each age group in bar charts. An alternative representation of all age groups is provided by the chart on slide 64 at a glance, where the annual value of 2020 is drawn with a red line in the minima-maxima of the previous years. 2 peaks that slightly exceed the previous years can be found in the age groups 70 to 79 and over 90. With 2 further diagrams, the proportion of deceased is related to the total number of deceased. Particularly in the 90-plus age group, on the one hand, the number of deceased becomes apparent at a clear peak at 198,865. But in relation to the growth of the population group by more than 262,000, the curve illustrates that this is only 1/13 above the previous peak from 2015 in percentage terms. I explained the cross-year mortality curve on slide 67 in detail in my basic video on the Stringency Index. The black-yellow curve indicates the severity of the government's pandemic control measures and allows mutual influences to be analyzed. I also presented the table of death figures from the first 16 calendar weeks in comparison with the previous year in an earlier video on Europe. Note in particular the conversion of the absolute death figures in the left-hand area to 100,000 inhabitants in the gray-shaded area. There is no age adjustment here. The slide sequence, which is the same for all countries, concludes with an overview of the occurrence of influenza viruses from 2014 to 2021. The global demolition of influenza with the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic has already been frequently and critically questioned with regard to the similar symptoms of COVID-19 disease. An essential part of the elaboration is the comparison of 33 evaluated countries in the table on slide 8 in a ranking order characterized by the stringency of the measures. I recommend here to discuss again some core questions from my basic video on the Stringency Index. Slide 9 now shows the countries abbreviated by the number plates in the order of the table above. Here the percentage increase of or decrease in the mortality rates of 5 age groups is shown. It is noticeable that in all countries the younger age groups show, in part, very clear decreases in the death rate. On the other hand, especially on the left, the older age groups often show clear increases. This is the percentage increase in the percentage mortality rates. An increase from 10% to 10.5% would thus correspond to an increase of 5% in this calculation. Particularly exciting is the exemplary country comparison of 11 selected countries, each adjusted to a color-coded standard population in total age equivalent. If we look at France shown above, the 10th place may come as a surprise, as it does not correspond to the picture that the media and politics have given us of the development there. We have already noted the high number of deaths in the older age groups, but compare the percentage of deaths in the over 90 age group in the other countries with the 20.1% in France. If one converts this mortality rate to a common age distribution, it becomes the second best rank adjusted for age. Who would not prefer to live in a country where there is a lower probability of deaths for their own age group, which admittedly can vary from year to year? How much the relatively arbitrary selection of the color-code standard population affects the overall ranking is shown by further calculations on the subsequent slides, where a different country was chosen for age matching in each case. France remains in the second best rank 10 in all examples, and only a few countries swap places slightly. Norway and Switzerland vie for the best rank 11. The worst rank 1 remains with neighboring Poland in all calculations. The comparison with 2019 shown on slide 16 should be interesting. Here too Switzerland was in the top rank of 11. However, Germany has improved in the country ranking from rank 2 in 2019 to rank 5 in 2020 in the lower midfield. I would like to point out that the comparison shown here for 11 countries was made in an enclosed spreadsheet for all 34 countries. This spreadsheet is also available for download in my Telegram channel and is available for your own further research. I do not want these rankings to be understood in the sense of a sporting competition. Every government must take responsibility for the development in this country and should be prepared to draw conclusions and learn from mistakes through careful analysis and self-critical assessment. Only an open approach to the facts and dialogue with all affected sectors of the population will help to ensure a consensual, peaceful coexistence and safeguard the lives, health, professional, financial and social livelihoods of all sections of the populations. In this sense, the ranking is not intended to provide an assessment, but rather to invite people to conduct their own research and analysis in order to be prepared for a competent dialogue. I hope that I could arouse your interest for my extensive analysis. This video will soon be released in other languages. I would like to express my gratitude for the support with the translations and recordings. If you like this video and my work, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel and join the Telegram group Real Hero to get notified on future updates and videos. There you can find numerous additional information. There will be further international topics and data published there. Thank you for your attention and goodbye.